Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from Compass Box. Canvas. Ooh, I mean, that's a very, very simple box now, isn't it? All right, so you pull out the box, you pull out the bottle, and you get something that's even magnificent. So look at that. Look at that nice little thing there. So what you can actually do is you can go to the back of the bottle here on that little QR code here, and you can upload your own little picture to put in a label you can print out and put on this. Isn't that cool? Canvas, right? So what we have here, and I think this is a little bit of a shame, all right? So I do have all the different distilleries with the percentages on here, and I'll be reading those in a second. This is Whiskey Base 183820. This costs 129 euros 90 over here in Germany. One of 5,880 bottles worldwide. And what I think is a little bit of a shame is basically John Glazer has given up fighting the Scotch Whisky Association for transparency. So what he has done is you can actually go online to www.compassboxwhiskey.com, type in Canvas, and you'll actually have a list here of all the things that were on there. It's a nice little PDF, which I'm going to use as well. And this is actually then a mixture of different whiskeys. Now, the thing that I mentioned that's a shame is there are no dates on here. There are percentages, but there are no dates. As soon as you put a date on the whiskey, you can only name the youngest whiskey. Everything else has to be blacked out or not even mentioned. So he's given up on that fight. So what we do is we have the table here, and we have here the percentages of the whiskey, but we have no idea if they're 3 years old or 30 years old. Now, with a price of 129 euros, I expect them to be more over 15, 18 years of age. But I don't know. It used to be you'd have a little, you write through this email and they'll send you exactly what you have to do. Even that, at least with the Canvas, they've stopped doing. Oh, at least then I'd be able to have a date and knew how old my whiskeys were. But, oh well. All right, so what do I have here? Oh, we need to pour a little bit first of all. So we have whiskey from Tomatin. Tomatin is a beautiful, beautiful distillery doing good stuff. So we have here refill bourbon barrels. We have 43.4% from Tomatin in here. This should have a ripe, waxy pear moment, spices and vanilla oakiness. We have in here from the Glenburgie, or Borgie, distillery of 24.2%. These are first fill bourbon barrels, single malt, everything in here. This is a blended malt Scotch whiskey, so no grain whatsoever. Soft apple, icing sugar, honey. So we have from the Glen Elgin distillery, we have here Recharred American Oak Hogshead. So Hogshead had been used a few times. They actually recharred them to use them again. So we have pineapple, which is interesting. All right, very good. We have malt and we have some gingerbread. And then what do we have here? We actually have 6.1% from the closed, the silent distillery. Can never be made again because Cheva's brothers actually tore down that and built the Dalmanach distillery on top of there in the space side. This is the Imperial distillery. First fill bourbon barrels, yellow apple, vanilla custard, a little bit of orange sherbet here, 6.1%. Very, very nice. Now, I did not mention one thing that we have to talk about. They took from Tomatin 10.9% and took it and placed it for a second maturation in so-called Vino Naranja barrels. Vino wine, Naranja orange. So I'm going to actually just read a tiny little bit here because that's interesting. So the Compass Box Canvas is actually an experiment. They took a package of some of their whiskey and put it for 3 years in these Spanish orange wine casks. So it's more of a sherry type of liqueur wine, and you actually put orange peels in it. I think of the Amrut Naranja, or whatever it was called. They did the same thing there. And this is exclusively to that wine region called Condado de Huval in South Spain. And so they were very creative. They were very courageous, very bold with making this whiskey that should be very fruity. You should get the shortbread, and it should be very rich as well. And so you have 10.9% of that in there. All right, 129 euros, as I mentioned. What am I going to compare it to? Because I love this whiskey, Spice Tree. All right, 49.99 over here in Germany and Europe. So this is 50 euros. This is 129 euros. All right. So now the question of the day is which one is going to be better? Now, both of these are no age statements. Both of these are blended malt Scotch whiskeys, so there's no grain involved. It is all single malts from different distilleries put together. What we have here is the specialty that they actually take these, the tops and the bottoms, so the heads of the barrels, they make them new from French oak, and they heavily toast them, because that's the first thing I get here all the time. I get a heavily toasty spice oaked moment, which I love. And then I get the waxiness of the Kleinlich, which I love. This is one of my favorite whiskeys out there for this price. All right, but we're not talking about the Spice Tree and the Kleinlich in here. There is no Kleinlich in here, so maybe I might not like it as much. On the nose. Now, I must admit, first of all, the flavors pop. This is a good whiskey. This is a very good whiskey on the nose. I really like this. Now, on the nose, I'm getting a little bit even of a waxiness, even though I should not, because the Kleinlich is missing. But I do get a fruitiness. But it's not a typical plum. It's not a red apple. It's not a forest berries type of things. It's a honey. It's a vanilla. I'm going to go with shortbread, all right? And it's spicy. There's a little bit of chocolate in there as well. I like a lot. The nose is very promising. The nose is a B. All right. So, cheers. 46%, non-chill filtered, no coloring added, which I thought was very interesting. They actually put on here. The lead whiskey maker, of course, John Glaser, started the company over 20 years. He now has a protege that is James Saxon, doing a very good job, by the way, James. And the color is natural, filtration is non-chill filtered, but they actually say it's light, using a 5 micron, light 5 micron. So you can actually talk about the space between the holes in the filter, like a coffee filter, or you could actually have maybe chicken wire or whatever. You can take out just a char, or you can actually filter a little bit. This is lightly filtered, not chill filtered, but it is filtered, which most whiskeys are. Thank you for that transparency there. And it was bottled in July of 2021. All right, very good. So somehow my online it says June 2021, at least on my whiskey page here. Oh well, yeah, bottled. I think actually if you look at the bottle stamp, it actually also says here something. Let's take a look here. I can do this here. It was bottled on... Nope. Okay, my bottle was actually from July. All right, good. On the 9th of July, 2021. So at 3:52 p.m. All right. Very, very nice nose. Very, very well done. Very, very nicely created. Cheers. The thing that bothers me at the beginning, oh, I love the finish. There's that ginger heat of the alcohol. And then you get this old chocolatey, oaky. Oh, the finish is perfect. There's something in here that gives off a heat of a youthfulness at the beginning, or instead of youthfulness, inactive barrels. Is anything here with inactive barrels? So we have here refill bourbon barrels. Tomatin could be. First fill bourbon barrels. Glenburgie, don't think so. Recharred American oak hogsheads, don't think so. First fill bourbon barrels from Imperial. It could. I'm not a fan of Imperial, so I think that could be a problem as well. And the Vino Naranja barrels, I don't think that would be the problem, because that was just a 3-year-old finish there. But there's that spice, there's that heat, there's that hotness there that I just do not like. On the palate, it's a 3, it's a C, but on the finish, it's a C, it's a B again. On the nose is a B, on the finish is a B, but on the palate, it's a C. Which is disappointing because if you're going to pay 129 euros for whiskey, at least I expect something that's gonna massage my tongue, which is gonna just give me a mouth orgasm, but it doesn't. Um, it does remind me of Chivas Regal 18, not from the grain point of view, but from the okay, oh, great finish. I just love that finish of the Chivas Regal 18, and I love this finish as well. Very, very good, very well done. It says here it actually opens up with a few drops of water, so let's do this here. Let's add a few drops of water to see if we can get rid of that bite that we have at 46%, which they need for the non-chilled filtered and so on. Beautiful, beautiful nose still. That creamy, shortbread, oaky, malty. I'm actually going to say for overripe strawberry moment here. Very, very good. And honey. Overripe strawberries with some very nice honey on there. The heat is still there. It's tiny, a little bit sweeter. It's sharp on the tongue. And then, oh yeah. All right. So I'm going to give this a B minus. Value for money, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to give it a D plus. I am disappointed that there's no age statement whatsoever anywhere to be found. At least I could not find anything. I do not feel that this flavor profile justifies 129 euros. 60 to 80 euros, okay, yeah. But without any knowledge of how old the whiskeys are in here, without any real moment of, not a single time that was, this is wow, this is great, yummy moment, and especially that burn that I get on the tongue is just not justifying this price that I have here. What could I buy instead? Oh, I don't know. There's a bottle on the table. Let's try this very briefly. And watch me enjoy a great Compass Box whiskey. Yum. Oh. As I said, that French oak toasted there, those heads and those bottoms, those the lids, oh, very, very nice. Kindlish, waxy, honey, oakiness, fruitiness, nice, very, very nice. If you were to give both of these to me blind, I think I would prefer this one any day of the week. Cost less than half the price, is available and is part of the core range. There's Extravaganza, I think is what it's called, from Compass Box Spice Tree. If you can buy it, if you can find it, if it's still out there someplace, go for it. But my tip of the day would be the Spice Tree, just regular. It's worth the money. It's a beautiful, beautiful product. Well done. The limited release of the canvas, like the idea, but it didn't really convince me totally to put down that money and say, hey, I'd go buy another bottle. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for sharing. So what is your favorite Compass Box product? There's a Peat Monster out there, which is a beautiful, beautiful whiskey with a great value for money. And the Spice Tree. Those are my two go-to products from Compass Box. Hedonism is a little bit too expensive. So I'm paying, I think, 80 euros for this over here. It's a blended grain. Just not worth it. And this is, as I said, also a little bit too much for that that experience that I have with this whiskey. What's your favorite Compass Box product? Write it down in the chat. Would be love. Write it down in the comments. Would love to hear from you. Thank you very much. WhiskyJason here, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. All the best. Bye-bye.